Hey there, welcome. It's Christina Johnson here, transformational nutrition coach, founder of the Emerge Weight Loss Method. And today we're going to talk about organic foods. I know that there's a lot of information out there about how you should be buying organic foods, and it's a lot more expensive. And so sometimes I know a lot of people wonder, is it really worth it? Do I really need to be buying organic food and grass-fed meat? Is there a benefit to it or not? And so that's the question I want to tackle today, because I know for me personally, when I first started eating clean, I did a clean eating detox about 11 or 12 years ago, and I was under the impression that I should buy everything organic. And so I remember going to Whole Foods. It was one of my first trips to Whole Foods. I bought everything organic, and the grocery bill for just 1 week for just my husband and I was over $200. And I knew that that wasn't sustainable. I was not going to spend $200 every week on groceries for me and my husband. And so what I did was I spent a couple years actually researching this and figuring out, okay, is it really necessary to buy organic and grass-fed meat? Are there some things that it's more important to purchase organic and some things that I could save money on and buy conventional? And that's kind of the conclusion I came to. Yes, organic and grass-fed has its purpose and its benefits, and there are some things that you just don't need to be as concerned about. And so what I want to do today is just talk a little bit about why it is helpful to buy some things organic. And then I'm going to give you a list of my top 5, it's more like categories of food where I do prioritize buying good quality. So that's what we're going to dive into today. But before I get started, I'm just curious where you're at. So put a 1 in the comments if you are somebody who almost always buys organic foods. Put a 2 in the comments if you buy some organic, some conventional, and put a 3 in the comments if you never buy organic. So let me know, no judgment here, no right or wrong. I'm just curious to know where people are at and if you're buying organic now or not. So let me know in the comments, and then let's just jump in. So to answer this question about should you buy organic, is it worth it, what's the benefit to it, I want to take one step back and just to remind you that one of the key principles of the Emerge Weight Loss Method and clean eating is that we're not trying to lose weight by restricting our calories. It's not about just eating less. Instead, what we focus on here is about focusing on what you're eating. So eating foods that fuel your body well and improve your overall health. Because when you can eat in a way that balances your blood sugar, lowers inflammation, and just helps improve your health, then yes, you're going to lose weight, but you're also going to have better digestion. You're going to have clearer skin. You're going to have fewer aches and pains. You're going to feel more energetic during the day and sleep better at night. And so that is one of our big philosophies here, is that we want to focus on what we're eating and making sure that we're putting good, healthy foods into our body that are going to improve our health and not take away from it. So with that being said, to get back to the question of organic, I always start by recommending first to focus on step 1 of eating clean, which is just to cut out a lot of the processed food and eat more real whole foods. So we need to start just by eating more fruits and vegetables and meat and eggs and fish and nuts and seeds. And so we start by just eating foods that have the good healthy nutrients that will fuel our body well. But then really step 2 is making sure that the food that we're eating is good quality, because it's not always. You know, for example, think about olive oil. So olive oil is a really healthy food. It's got all these benefits. Good for your heart, it's got healthy fats, it's good for weight loss. Like, there's all these health benefits to olive oil. But you only get the health benefits if you have a good olive oil that contains those ingredients. And there was, I don't know if you saw this, but it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, I think the New York Times did an article, and they kind of exposed that a lot of the olive oil in the shelves in the grocery store is not what you think it is. Like, I think they said up to 80% of the olive oils labeled Italian extra virgin olive oil, the olives was not from Italy, and it wasn't always extra virgin either. It was lower quality. And so that's why, you know, sometimes the olive oil in the store, some of them are a lot cheaper than others, because what's been discovered is that a lot of olive oil, sometimes they'll put cheaper oils in it, like vegetable oils, which are inflammatory, and we don't want that. They'll put that in the olive oil to make it cheaper to produce. And so that's just one example. So if we're gonna spend money and we wanna put olive oil in our body to get the good, healthy fats from it, well, then we need to make sure that we're actually getting olive oil. And so there's just different things where one form is better than another. Another example here is, I saw this Pubmed study, or it was an article reviewing several different studies about organic produce. And they found that there are certain nutrients that are found in much higher quantities in organic produce. So it was things like vitamin C, magnesium, iron, phosphorus. I think those were a few of the specific nutrients that were found in significantly higher quantities in organic produce versus non-organic. And you know, the other issue is that so much produce is sprayed with pesticides and Roundup and chemicals. And that means when you're eating that produce, all those toxins and chemicals go in your body. That disrupts your gut bacteria. It can trigger inflammation. It can, you know, affect your hormones. It can make it harder to lose weight. And so again, if we're wanting to eat fruits and vegetables for the health benefits, then, you know, sometimes we want to choose the ones that are going to have the greatest amount of vitamins and minerals and the fewest amount of toxins. Another example, one last example I just want to share with you is the idea of grass-fed cows. So does that make a difference? Well, you can find this on the Eat Wild website, but there's a study that looks at conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. So it's this healthy fat, and it's still being researched, but it looks like it may be a strong cancer fighter. It may help prevent obesity and diabetes. So it's this really healthy, powerful compound, CLA. Well, they looked at grass-fed hamburger, and that had 2.5 more times CLA than regular conventionally raised beef. So, and then also they looked at dairy producing cows. So pasture raised dairy cows had milk with 86% more vitamin E than conventionally raised cows. And the grass-fed cows had more omega-3s and CLA in the milk as well. So, you know, so I'm sharing all this with you just to say that there is benefit to buying some things organic or pasture raised. There is some evidence that shows that there are more health promoting properties and nutrients in food that's grown well. And there's also fewer amounts of toxins and chemicals and antibiotics and all the things that we don't want to be ingesting. So to answer the question, is it worth it to buy organic and grass-fed? For me personally, after years of research, the conclusion I've come to is yes, it is worth it. And, you know, sometimes it's just not budget friendly to buy everything organic and grass-fed. And so what I have done is just, you know, kind of over the years, I've prioritized 5 areas where I'm willing to spend more money to get good quality food. And then there's other things I just don't worry about. And yeah, I might be getting some toxins or chemicals. Maybe I'm not getting as many vitamins, but I don't worry about it. This isn't about being perfect. It's just about how can we fuel our body well? And is there something I can do to fuel my body a little bit better today? And so here are the 5 categories of foods where I do prioritize for myself and my husband buying good quality. So number 1 is meat. I just think that, I mean, there's all this information about meat and red meat and is it healthy, is it not? And just from what I've seen, I feel a lot more comfortable eating meat that's been raised well. I think there's a lot of health promoting properties in it, and it doesn't have a lot of the antibiotics and chemicals and toxins. The other issue too is, we don't often think about it, but there's a saying, you are what you ate. So what I mean by that is if the cows were fed a lot of, you know, corn and soy that's genetically modified, that is influencing their meat that we are then eating. And I'm sensitive to corn and soy. I know a lot of people are, whether you realize it or not. And then genetically modified food is just something that's not well researched and not doesn't appear to be super healthy for us. So I want to eat meat that is good quality. And so for me personally, that looks like, if possible, getting beef that's pasture raised or chicken, and at the very least looking for organic. Because if you are getting organic, then at least if they have been fed anything like corn, it will be non-GMO. So that's my first area where I prioritize my budget going towards good quality meat. And also, it's taken me time, but I found a local rancher and a pig farmer and somebody local who sells lambs. And we buy a lot of our meat in bulk that way because it's a little more cost effective, and I can talk to the farmer and know what they're feeding their animals and how they're being raised. Okay, number 2, I am really pretty picky about my fish as well. So I always try to get wild caught fish versus farm raised. Farm raised is it's not a good process how they do farm raised fish, and there can be a lot more chemicals and just other things that the fish are exposed to. So for me to make fish more cost effective, I usually just buy frozen like salmon fillets or cod or halibut or whatever, and then I just make sure it says wild caught on the package. And then it usually is fairly cost effective, and I know I'm getting better quality. The third area is eggs. So eggs, again, are just one of those things where, eggs can be a thing that a lot of people are sensitive to begin with. And so I make sure my eggs are pasture raised and ideally organic so that they're not fed anything that's been genetically modified. The fourth area I focus on are my fats. So especially with oils, I really want to make sure that the oils I'm ingesting are good and healthy, because any fat, like a liquid fat, like olive oil, avocado oil, anything like that, the chemical structure of it is just a little more fragile. Excuse me, which means it's more likely to be damaged by, if you like light. So if you have a clear bottle and light is getting into that, that can damage the structure of the oil and make it go rancid. Or if when it was processed, it was exposed to a lot of heat, that can, destroy the chemical integrity of that fat. So when I'm buying fats, olive oil, butter, I make sure is from grass-fed cows. I really do try to buy good quality fats and oils. And then the last thing that I focus on quality with is produce. But I do not buy all organic produce. It's just not super realistic. It's not always available. But if you aren't familiar, there's the Environmental Working Group, and they each year create a list, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So every year they test all these different types of produce, and they measure how many pesticides are found in them. And based on that, they create a list. These are the top 12 dirty fruits and vegetables that are high in pesticides, and then a list of the Clean 15, the ones that have the lowest amount. And so for me personally, the ones that are on that Dirty Dozen list, I make a priority to buy organic. So like lettuces, berries if possible, apples. And then the ones on the Clean 15, usually they're things with thicker skins like bananas, avocados, watermelon. Those things I don't worry about buying organic. And so that's kind of how I just kind of think through it in my head. So I know it's not like a super clear cut, yes, you should always buy organic, no, you shouldn't, but that's how I work. I think we want things to be black and white, but there's a lot of nuances. And so that's my recommendation, is to just think through what are your priorities, what's most important to you to buy good quality and organic, and what are you willing to buy conventionally. And I think that's the best way to eat well and fuel your body well and still make it budget friendly. So if you have any questions about this, let me know. Just put questions in the comments. I'll come back and look at them later. And then also, if you're just ready to implement this clean eating lifestyle, but maybe you feel a little overwhelmed, you don't know where to start, you just want a plan to follow, then definitely reach out to me, because that is what we do in the Emerge Weight Loss Program. I help you create your clean and mindful eating lifestyle, and we make it sustainable. So it is one that you can stick with long term, and we deal with all the emotional eating and all of the other stuff that stops you from eating healthy, so that you have all the tools you need to lose weight and feel really comfortable in your body. So if you want more info on that, I would invite you to book a call with me. It's a complimentary consultation so that I can get to know you better and figure out if the program would be a good fit for you, and then I'll tell you all about it as well. So you can go to ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/apply to book that call, or I'll put a link in the comments as soon as I'm done. So thank you so much for watching today. If you have any questions, let me know, and we will talk again soon. Bye for now.